please feel free to stop me if something's not quite what you thought. I can see just my keyboard, so I should be able to do everything. So, if you remember back, say, with Ingrid in about week 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, no, more like 10 or 11, we did a long section through some ground as a wee bit of an introduction to doing this course. So the first thing I'm going to do is go copy, and I'm going to grab this bit here and move it over there. So the reason for that is that it gets it away from the main drawing, and I've copied some spot heights, some contours, the pipe, the tree, alright, and so I've pretty much copied everything I need. And now I need to flatten off this green line, which is the centre line. So I'm going to draw a line going horizontally over here, and that can be any length. Doesn't matter. We're not going to scale this, we're just going to rotate it and align it with that line there. So if you can remember the command, it was called ALIGN, align. Click on it down here and grab everything you need. Make sure you grab everything. Enter, and the first point, which is here, is going to go there. The second point, which is actually there, is going to go there. And it says, do you want a third point? The answer is no, so just enter on that. And align. Do you want to scale the objects? No. You don't want it the same length as the line I've drawn. Enter. There we are. It's flipped over. It's now in line horizontally, which is perfect. Now, the next stage is to start putting the ground line on here. Now, the ground line contours, oh, by the way, these are not the correct contours. See these bits up here? Yep, Roger's been playing with them. He's also been playing with these ones. They were correct originally, but I have now done enough to them so that if a student thinks they're an easy copy, they're not an easy copy, okay? So you do your own contours. These will be close enough so that your long section will be close enough to what mine was. So we do need, on the O-snap, we do need intersection on. Probably take off the end point at the moment, take off nearest. Okay, so if you remember from last semester, let's start with this one here, 42.4. So I draw a line from that intersection with ortho on. I'll go 42.4. And I'll do another one from this point here up 42.6. Do another one from here, 42.8. Remember, it's every 0.2. And of course, eventually we're going to join these all these lines up. To form the ground line. Can anyone tell me what I've done wrong?
Is it the spacing?
No, we did it wrong.
What did I do wrong?
You did it wrong.
What did I do wrong?
Oh, the
Connector.
double.
And-
Double it.
Oh yeah, you should double it.
That's exactly, no, he said it right, he got, yep. So
Double the line.
I get half marks there.
you're gonna get double zero for that.
Double zero. Double zero. Email before the
No,
line.
no, that's worth half a mark because actual fact, well done.
Thank you.
So we need, you're now my calculator man. So I want you to double these amounts when I say it. So I hope you all took note of that. It's quite good that we made a bit of a joke out of it because nobody's going to do this wrong in this class. We're all going to do it correctly. So the reason why I've started with 42.4 is I seem to have run out of contour labels, so I have to sort of start with this one anyway, and I'll go back to it. So can you please double 42.4? So I'm going to go click and go aim up, and 42.4 times 2? 88.8, is that correct?
Yep.
84.8, right?
Yeah.
No, 0.4.
4.
Do a line from here, 84.8. Line from here, 85.2. Line from here, 85.4. A line from here, 85.8. A line from here, so 43.4.
86.
86.8.
86.8.
86.8.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong here? Something. We'll go back to 43.2 is
86.4.
86.4. And 43,
86.
86, that's an easy one. Yep. The line from here, that's 43.6, so that'll be 87.2. Okay, so I'm starting to get a bit bored already. So I'll do a couple over here, just so that we're on the right path. So that one was 44.
80.
So that'll be 88. It's an easy one. So 44, 44.2, 4, 6, 45. So that'll be 90. Don't you do this. I'll catch you out if you do. 2, 4, 6, 8. That'll be 92. 2, 4, 6, 8, 90. I'm 94. 2, 4, 6, 8, 96.
94 is not right.
94 didn't move very well, did it? Okay, so what I want you to do still is to do the ones in between all these. We'll just put in point on now. get a much more accurate ground line. And especially around where the platform is. Now, do these contours 2, 4, 6, 8? So do they go downhill again, or are they? No, they would be.
The same.
Is it 90, 98? Is it?
Yeah, 49. 40.
Yeah. And then it starts going quite flat after that. You have a look. See, it's going flat all the way across to there. So that's interesting. Now coming back the other way, 42.4, 40, 2.242. So we'll line that up with 84. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We'll line that up with 82. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We'll line that up with 80. All right, so the first thing that we've kind of learnt here is that we had to double the numbers going upwards. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do is a line here that is at the end of the wetlands. That line there, and I'm just going to take it up straight vertically up. Now, I was talking to a student a few minutes back about estimating your best estimate of what, why won't that work there? Now it's working. Okay, and I'm going to do a line over here. Which is pretty much the same contour as that top one. So the ground line, if I extend this line here, that is exactly where the ground line hits the wetlands, right? And this one's flat here because it's the same contour. So it goes across to meet that. So that's my best kind of guess at the assumed assumed water level. Now I can drop that by whatever I want when I make an assumed water level. The next thing I'm going to do is I'll just, for sake of graphics, I'm going to change to a colour yellow. Hopefully it'll be just as bright. And I'm going to do one end of the pipe, which will be this end here. Now can someone please open the assignment and tell me what the level is at the beginning of the pipe, manhole 1 end.
Level. 44.4, sir.
44.4 is going to end up as 88.8, right?
Yeah.
88.8.
Did I get half mark?
No, that was a very easy one.
Good try.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the grade? So do you see what I did there? I've got the starting point of the pipe, right? So what's the grade that the pipe goes down to the other end?
12.28%.
12.28. So if I go along 100 and down 12.28, then that's the grade, right, of the pipe. We all happy with that? Anyone not happy? Because if you're not happy, you could have made yourself an easy half mark. Yeah,
Can you explain it again, please?
well, we're looking at a grade
Yeah, it is on the paper.
of 12.8%.
Yeah.
So I went along 100 and down 12.8. Right? So the grade is, if I said we're looking at a grade of 1%, you go along 100 and down 1. So I went along 100 and down 12.8. But, as I said, if anyone wasn't happy, then that would have meant they would have got themselves half a mark, because should I have gone down 12.8 or double 12.8?
Double.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn, okay. I said we'll have a bit of fun. Seems to be me having all the fun.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is the 12.8 come from?
The assignment,
The paper.
yeah. So he wanted half a mark for telling me that. The chap over there wanted half a mark for telling me the 12.8. So you can lose 1/2 mark and give it to him if you want to.
Please.
Because, okay, so we're going to do a line from here. Look, the easiest way I do it is I go 12.8, enter, and 12.8 again, right? That's my way of doing maths on WordPad. And it works brilliantly, but if you can do it in your head, that's even better. Notice how steep that is now, right? And notice the pipe is now going to end up below the ground. See that? There's the ground line. Here's the pipe. And notice how high our outlet structure is going to be. Now, if I take a line from the end of the pipe, and I come up vertically, the pipe ends just before the ground line.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna trim that and trim that. All right, and trim that off. So we now have a pipe from that end to that end with the grade. We didn't even have to open up our calculator. Now, can anyone tell me the diameter of the pipe? And it's not with half a mark. All of a sudden, what's the diameter?
450
What's that in meters?
Millimeter.
diameter. Millimeter.
0.45.
So we go offset 0.45, right? And that's the offset of the pipe and join up each end. Except that nobody wanted to say anything, so it's actually offsetting 0.9. Double. Only in the vertical direction. I'm just going to remember all this if they haven't recorded it. So I'm joining the pipe up. I'm now going to do the manhole at one end. So what did Roger say? He said that it was 100 mil down. So I'm going to offset 0.1. Remember, this is meters. And I'm now going to offset another 0.1 because that's the width of the manhole. Actually, sorry, better do this properly. We're going to offset 0.1 back from here, and that's still got it wrong. We're going to offset 0.1 back from there. So that's the end of the pipe, the top end. We're going to offset 0.1 back. And we're going to offset another 0.1 back. And that is the width of the manhole there, okay? Now I said the internal diameter is offset 1.05. So that's the manhole. Offset another 0.1 for the concrete.
Awesome.
Alright? Now, we can trim back a little bit of this because the pipe sticks through. And I also said that we're going to, offset down to the bottom of the manhole by 0.1 as well, didn't I? So 100 mil down. Or is it?
I think
It's
it's
200.
the other side, no?
It's
Double.
200 mil down
Yeah.
because it's 200 mil down because it's vertically challenged. There we are. So that's what the manhole looks like. See that? And it goes up to the top there. I'll just trim that at the top at the moment. I'll leave the rest in your capable hands. It should stick 0.2 above. It's actually, 0.2 is 0.1, isn't it?
Mm.
So I did say stick at 0.2 above. Because it's in the middle of nowhere at Unitech, so it's best that students know where it is, rather than tripping on it. That's one end. The structure at this end, I said that I wanted the structure to be back 100, so we're now going horizontally, so it's only 0.1, and it's 0.1 wide. And it's going to stretch right up to the top, but I also said I wanted it to be 100 mil above the ground, but of course it's not 100 mil, is it? It's 0.2. So that is the top of the manhole. So the wing walls of this manhole structure, which stop 100 mil below the ground, but it's not 100, it's 0.2. A lot of doubling to remember here. Good thing is I haven't given away 1 mark, oh, I've only given away 1.5 marks, haven't I? The first person that got the double. How wide did I make the wing walls? I showed you a plan of it, about, was it 1.5? Has anyone got that photo of the wing wall? Okay, well you'll have to figure that out yourself.
1 to 1.5.
1 to 1.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to, you can do whatever you want there between 1 and 1.5. I'm going to make mine 1.5. Where it is there. Trim it off. Trim that off. There we are. And that will go, I'll make mine go along like that. That's the outlet. Looks very much like the manhole.
Why is 1.5?
Because I did a sketch. I did a sketch. And it's a good question actually, because you're not a structural engineer, so you're gonna have to put a note that a structural engineer's gonna have to finalise the design.
You just need a seal, okay?
I've just given you a rough ballpark of what I'm the client, that's what I want. Can an engineer make it work? Do the engineer work?
You already give this dimensions, right?
Yes,
So 1, 3, 4, the 1, 3, 500? 1, 3,
no, I
5,
didn't give you the top one. I said it has to be 100 mil above the ground line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the other one.
Oh, yeah, what did I give you there? What was the dimension I gave you there?
100.
I already gave that.
We're making the.
Was it 100 or was it, what did is anyone got that dimension that I gave you below here? I think it
100.
might be,
That's
100.
That's 100.
100.
no, that was for the manual, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's manual. Yeah, the other one I got 100, not 50.
Oh.
I better do it right, because I don't want anyone doing it wrong.
100.
Is it 100?
Yeah.
Okay, that is
So it should
100.
be 0.2, right?
Yeah, that is 0.2, that dimension from there to there is 0.2. Okay. Wow, that's the pipe. Now, the problem is, guess what I've done? I didn't draw the platform on here. So I'm gonna have to just approximate where the platform is. Sorry about this. I've luckily got the pegs on here. Actually, why am I, oh, no, I'm gonna have to rotate it with the same rotation. You should draw your platform on first before, and when you rotate it in the right place, right? I sort of did that, but I've lost a couple of the pegs. So, what I'm gonna do is go a line, ether from that point to peg 2, and from that point to peg 3, enter, no. Okay, so I've now got my platform on there. So I'm going to draw a line from that point up. And how far up is it? What is the height of the platform?
44.4.
44.4.
44.4.
Should be double.
So
88.8.
88.8.
Now, you know how I'm always saying to students, make sure you do a save, so you don't have to redraw anything. Guess what happened? This happened to me.
What happened? Oh.
And anyone who laughs will lose half a mark. Well, that's the whole class. Now I'm going to get the last laugh because I can say, there we are, cool, okay. That was lucky. I'm happy. You won't when you come to the marking. I've still got my line here, that's good. So what is the platform level, everybody? 44 exactly?
44.4.
44.4.
So that's
88.8.
Right. So your line goes up 88.8. Take it along, and I'll do another line from here. I can need to make that 88.8 because I know it's going to intersect there and trim it off. So there's our platform. Now we have a cut data of 1 to 1. So I'm going to go along 1, up 1, back down to there. So that's the angle. I'm going to do, what did your son say?
What you want?
I think he said that I've drawn that wrong, so I'm gonna have to give him half a mark. Because I did draw it wrong,
Should be two.
because in the vertical, it's gonna be
Two.
2. Yeah. So when I do this, I go along 1 and up 2. Back down here, well done. I'm glad he was in the class. So I'll just extend that. Okay, and over here, obviously along 2, but instead of going down 1, we go down 2 as well. And we end up like that, and we're going to extend it to meet the ground line down here. And then we take a line down from here because that's an important point. And we take a line also down from the intersection here because that also is a very important point, right? So we have a platform, we have the manhole, we have the long section going into the outlet structure. Now we're going to draw the tree on. Now this is where we need a little bit of estimation. There's the middle of the tree, about there, right? Can anyone tell me what level that tree is at? We follow that line along. 42, 41.8, 41.6, 41.4, 41.2. 41.2. Remember that? So to get the tree, we go from that point back to the centre line parallel, up 41.2, and then another 41.2 because it's doubled. And there it is, that point there is where the tree sits.
Okay, I see.
So the tree sits there. The tree is, can we make the tree please 6 meters high? 6 meters high, because anything more, and we'll never be allowed to chop it down.
Sir, how do you know the tree is 6 meters high? It is the standard height
Because
or?
the council rules state that if it's more than 6 meters, you've got to apply for resource consent to chop it down,
Okay, I see.
right? And we're gonna make it 6 meters exactly, so that we're in a bit of a conundrum and we can add to our notes in an environmental
So, by the way,
engineer.
so when we join, so
We'll
we
need to, yeah, so I'm gonna draw it as 6 meters.
what about us? So we have to
You
join
want
the
double
6
again?
6 meter.
The answer is yes, double, and the answer is yes,
Double.
you draw it as 6 as well.
Okay.
Now, how wide is it? Well, that's the width of the tree. Let's draw a line from the edge of the tree up, right? And let's draw another line from the edge of the tree up. And that gives us our width, right? So I'm just gonna do that. And for all you that are gonna download a fancy tree from the internet, I'm gonna do it my way. So I'm gonna do a tree with a length, oh, sorry, we're gonna have to offset 12, because that's our height, right? And my tree is gonna have a big trunk. And now I'm gonna do a spline line is this one, there. And I'm gonna do it from here. No, being a bit fancy. I'm gonna do a P line. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't know what a P line. He doesn't take that the wrong way. Yeah, I should have snapped it, but I'm doing a P line, so it's gonna probably require a wee bit more than that. Here we are. Okay. And I'm gonna go, spline. Oh, edit. I'm gonna click on that and go S for spline, just to round it off. That looks like nice now, doesn't it? I'm gonna click on that, stretch it a bit so that it's out here. Absolutely perfect. Like that. And we'll put a few sort of middle branches in it. Like that. There we are. And Bob's your uncle. It's a fat man bending over. No, it isn't. No, we have to put some more lines on there so that I don't get in trouble with the boss. That's much better. So you've got to put more than 2 lines, all right? Or you lose marks. There we are, here's Roger's tree. Isn't it beautiful? Now the main thing is, I'm now going to erase that, and that, and that. Now the thing that you've got to remember is that this is behind the ground line. Because when you come and have a look down here, this is where your technical literacy skills come into it. The cut line is through the pipe, so it's behind the ground line. So anything that is under the ground line, which will be this little corner here, needs to be hidden. So don't forget that. It looks a bit odd because it's sticking up in here. But that's kind of just the way it is. So we've done the tree. We've done the lines coming down from here. So now we want to have a look at what things. I'm now going to copy this to the side. So we need a height of datum. 0 is down here. What do you think? Someone said 15. No, it's probably
No.
not good enough.
Not good.
I've set. We've got to get close up to the top here. So we got 80. Okay, who thinks maybe 60?
77.
Well, the answer is actually
60.
Oh, no.
the answer is 30 because we're going to go 30 twice. Goodness me, there's a chance there to earn yourself half a mark. So 30 and 30 goes up there. There we are.
60.
That's 6. No, that's 30 because you double it. Okay. Now, the other thing that the assignment asks you to do is to erase all these non-needed numbers. So after you've done the ground line perfectly, I want you to now erase all of these. No, you don't need them. But what you do need is every 5 meters. So we're gonna offset this 5. So I'm now doing them every 5 meters. Is that what the assignment says? Every 5 meters. So those ones are the ones that are now important to us. Trim them off. Notice how they go all the way up to the formation level. Okay, now this is something that I'm going to give you a big clue on. If we offset 10 from here, that will be about perfect. Should fit on the page. I don't know why, just somehow I had a premonition that it will. For 20 years, I'm probably going to be wrong. Anyway, I want you to offset 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm offsetting 2 each time. 5, 6. No, I think 7 should do it. Trim that off. Alright, and now the next thing I'm going to do is put some numbers in here. So what is the text type that we're using? It's the same text type as our plan. So we're going to do a little bit of text. It'll be .00. Actually, let's make it 00.00. And that text type will be 350 or 0.35. I'm going to rotate that text. I'm going to move it to here. Oh damn, disappeared. I'm going to move it to there. Move it down to into the hole. I'm going to go copy from that point to 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 that point, and I'm going to go copy all of that from that point to that point to that point. This point, now this time it's going to be that side, then that side, then there, that side, that side, that side. Now we've got a problem. No, we haven't. We're going to be able to get there. That side, and we can't go to the right, we have to stay in the middle. We're going to, oh, sorry, we can go to the right there. I'll move that. There's where the blue window comes in handy, because we just move the text. And we're going to copy that over to there. We may not need that last bit there. I think what I'll do is I will stretch that back to here because it's not really part of the assignment. We may not be able to use that. Okay, I'm going to assume a river level of, let's call that winter, and let's call that the bottom, the invert level, kind of summer. So let's do something sort of in between and call our assumed level kind of about here for the water. Alright? That kind of answers everybody's. I didn't say a number, didn't say what it was, I just thought that would be a good assumed level to put in. Now, coming down here, we have a HAD. Now, what was our HAD, everybody? Can you remember? 30. That's supposed to be 0.35. You'll notice that I come from the bottom of the South Island where they say they roll their R's a little bit. A little bit like Beijing. Beijing people roll their R's a little bit as well. So I say 30 like that. And that shouldn't say 30, that should be HAD equals 30. HAD equals 30.00. Okay, I'll move that down there. I'm going to copy that into that little space. So which is cut or fill on the top? Half a mark, first one.
Alright.
What's the question again?
Cut or
Fill
fill
is
on
on
the
the
top.
left side.
Cut. What?
So you said cut?
1.2.
You've already got a half a mark. So you're gonna, if you're right, you take that off. The chance of anybody else winning. That's good. Let's have a look at the class example. Did anyone see the class example?
What the hell?
Class example is, I've got my fingers crossed that you've taken the mark off everybody else.
It's cut.
Let me check, sir. Take your time. I check for you.
You're going to run.
Yeah. I check for you. No
Okay.
worry. No worry.
No worries.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, it's Phil.
Phil.
So no one wins out of that. Never mind. Okay, so that's Phil. I always get them mixed up. I just thought someone might have known. I'm never going to forget that now until next semester. So I'm going to copy that from. Come on, copy that from there to there, to there, to there, and to there. So, cut, sorry, is the next one, it's cut. And the next one is
Formation level.
formation. Yeah. Now, what did I tell you this morning? Formation will be your platform, right? The next one should be invert.
Ground.
Wrong?
Yeah. Ground level.
What is it? You're not allowed to tell the teacher who's wrong.
Formation ground level.
Yeah, ground.
Ground.
Ground level.
What is it?
Ground level.
Ground level.
Ground, of course.
And
It's
then-
not often I'm wrong, but this time I'm right. Okay.
And then invert.
Invert.
Level.
And
And that's why it's
Distance.
that should be distance. And grade.
Great.
Right. So, the good news, you don't need the cut or the fill or the formation anywhere else but where the platform starts and finishes. So, gone, 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 gone. You don't have to calculate those ones. And you don't have to calculate these ones. That's good. Right? The ground line is there, the invert level has to be there, the distance, that doesn't take too long to do because the first distance is 5.00. The next one will be 10.00. And so on. Right? That all the white ones will be every 5 meters, and all the other ones you have to measure the distance. So I'll do that one for you. Now let's do a dimension from here to the first yellow one. Oh, I don't like the size of that. So let's change that a little bit so that we can see it. Dimension style. Why the heck is that so big? Modify. Symbols and arrows. Yeah, I'm just looking at your text types are fine. Symbols and arrows are fine. Might be a bit better. No, I'll tell you that. I'll go for standard. Set current. Goes. Modify. Let's see what the heck they've done here. Arrow size, mark, text. This is weird. I
That's
don't.
the same issue with you.
Beg your pardon? Okay. Scale dimension to layout. It's not doing it. I think I've gone into the wrong CAD. Never mind. Standard, modify. Oh, that's annoying. Somebody has gone and played with this.
So can you click on the arrows and go to the scope with you?
Yeah, but it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to do that. It says 0.18, close fill, standard. There's absolutely nothing I could see, dimension scale 1. Who the hell would do that? Now it's better. Okay.
Is this supposed to be on the top?
Yeah, it's supposed to be on the top. I can do that. We can play with that. I'm just, okay. If you do that, I'll take marks off you, so I should really do it properly. Alright? So, text, above, centered, aligned. It is on top. That's strange as well. Oh well, just ignore the fact that that's on top at the moment and it's got a meter after it. Oh boy. Shouldn't have to, fix up other people's mucking up around, but never mind. The main thing is I wanted to show you that that was 16.69 or 16.70. So therefore that number there becomes 16.70, alright? And let's keep the same dimension, but just move it along to the next yellow one. And that's 20.12. So that would be 20.12. So you understand how to get the
Understand?
1, 2, so that's how you get the, distance, right? Now, the hardest one to do is the vertical one, because if I go dimension from there to there, let's say we were doing the invert level of that pipe. So I do a dimension from there to there, and I get the wonderful, yeah, you name it, we get it again. Properties, where do we find that? We found that under, no, there's 1,000 there somewhere.
Scale.
I know what to do. I'll go back to the dimension one, set current. That should eliminate that problem. So if we go dimension, linear from there down to here, we get 14.84. But remember, that's not the true dimension. That's the dimension when we doubled it. So we kind of want to half that, don't we?
Yeah.
So yes, you could get up your calculator and go, oh my goodness,
7.4.
which would be 7.4 something, right?
42.
Or we could go back into here and go modify, and under primary units, change that to 0.5. Scale factor, 0.5, go OK, set current and close. And that's gone to 7.42, see that? So you just add that to your 30, and you get 37.4. So you come down here, and change that to 37.4. 37.4 north. Don't forget 2 decimal places. Alright? Okay, so let's do a ground line. Let's do a dimension linear from here up to there. Okay, and that is 10.615 and 30, so that'll be 40.62. Right? Ground line 40.62. Let's do a cut and fill. Well, the cut and fill, in this particular case, it's all fill in here, so we don't have any cuts at all. This is good. From this point all the way until we get to the cut line, which is there. So that can all be deleted. Now, how do we work out a fill? We go up the top, we go dimension, linear, from there to the intersection, and it's 1.760. So that will become, which one was it? That line there, 1.760. Done. Actually, it's 1.76. It's 2 decimal places, right? Now, for those that don't want to do the invert with the calculations we did this morning in the lab, I've already done one invert there, but you can just drag this, you just keep on doing dimensions all the way along there, and you'll get your invert levels. There's another one, easy, eh? Just add it to 30. And I can't remember how much I put on the marking schedule. I think I put 4 on there. So this part in here, where we're changing all the distances and everything, is worth 4. And this part up here is worth 6. because that's gonna have a lot of notes on it, levels on it, hatching on it, line types on it, all the things that you've gotta get right. Okay? Don't leave the dimensions on your drawing. It's okay for while you're doing it, but just freeze them.
So, now you want to show me the cat on the
I beg your pardon?
The cat.
Cut.
You just did the feet, right?
Oh, sorry, okay. Yep, so the cut, if we take this line up here and we take it to that point there, then the cut is going to be a dimension from here to here, which will be 0.79. Right? Just that wee bit there. So 0.79, come down here, and it'll be that one there. 0.79. And there's no fill there. No fill, and no fill. The formation level, that's the level of the platform. We already know that. And you will yell out to me 44.4. Is that right?
Yep.
44.4 north. And the cool thing is, I think that's all the way along here on the top of the platform. Is that right? Yeah, all the way along to here. So the 44.4 can be copied from there to there to there to there and then along to there. Alright? We've done the distance. The invert level is the invert level of the pipe. I showed you how to do that. When it comes to the grade, you can also delete all of these down the bottom. I've hardly left you anything to do. And trim off this bottom line. Okay? Now you will have to change your text types because this is the wrong text type and it's the wrong arrow size. So we'll go back into dimensions and we'll change that to symbols and arrows, arrow size 0.35, text 0.3, text type 0.35, symbols and arrows 0.35. Now I'm not sure if this is going to do it. Lines. Okay. Set code. So we do a dimension from here to here. And we put it up to there. Something's gone wrong with my arrows and my text size. I think there was a scale of 1 to 100 or something in that. Sorry, yeah. Anyway, you set your text type to 0.35, you set your arrows to 0.35, your offset is always going to be a third of whatever your text type is. So technically this is wrong. Adjust that so you can put your, what is the grade? 12.28. 12.228. And then you right click here and go, oh no, you just go 12.28% for that. And then don't forget 1 and whatever X is, you'll have to work that out yourself. You go, okay. Now, I'm not sure, but maybe we get a chance to change the text here. Yeah, we can. For some reason, that's too small. I don't know why. It should be 0.35. Okay, so you'll need to, on your own home computer, or the one here, you need to adjust that to 0.35. Maybe we can, dimension styles. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to go, I can do it, it's just gonna take me a while to figure it out. Something's gone a bit awry.
So you scale factor?
No, it's allowed to be 0.5. Oh. Yeah, no, because we're talking text height here. Yeah. By the way, be careful you don't do a dimension horizontally using 0.5, because it'll come out with the wrong number. Multiplier, tolerances, text. I think if someone goes into dimensions for me, they will probably see what setting is wrong here. Lines. Has anyone got the dimension box there? Jog factor. There we are. What's your jog factor? Anybody on? Just go to CAD and go.
What is jog factor?
I think that's making 1.5 too small. Or too. What do you get for jog factor?
Same. To say 1.5.
Same.
Do you get those other numbers here?
Yeah, 1.5.
Yep. Do you get the scale?
Yeah, the mark.
Do you think it's to do with actually changing the scale
Line.
factor
I think-
to a half?
No, central. That's a different. That's a central mark. That's not the.
Which one are you talking about?
You know, actually, for the properties, you change the scale sometimes.
0.5, this one.
Yeah, can you see that?
That's only what it's reading. That's. No, that didn't make any difference at all, unfortunately.
No, I mean, select that arrow in the dictate and go to the properties of that, the text of that arrow.
The arrows are tiny now, they're really tiny.
Yeah.
So go to properties, there's a scale factor on that. That could be it. Make it 1. Okay. Well done. But this, what's this one? Actually, that's about the right size now.
Yeah, that should be the right one.
Yeah, but there is one thing I haven't got right. I'm glad it's finally come right. I haven't got the lines here right. That should be point 1 and 0.1. For some reason they're sitting too far above.
It's okay. We can figure it out. Yeah.
0.1, symbols and arrows. text. Oh, goodness me, wood one. Okay, set current in title block. Yay, it's finally gone on there. So that's how you do it. Now let's have a look at putting it into title block. So first of all, I'm going to go file, block, and obviously that units are wrong, so 1. Okay, and also drawing to PDF. A1 full bleed. Doesn't matter. I prefer to have the biggest number first. Apply to layout and cancel. So we've now got this thing down here. Leave enough space for title block. Z into 1000 /100 XP. Okay, so we've got a wee bit of an issue. Guess what? Yeah, it ain't gonna work 30. So we're gonna have to go to something like 35 because we're not quite getting that top of that manhole with the last few bits and pieces in down the bottom. Alright? I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but we'll change everything in model space to now, if you have already got a title block in your drawing, if you go right mouse, move or copy, it will, and go create copy, and go OK, the title block will come through in your second drawing. Right? So, let's just say this is my first drawing. And I'm no, over here more. This is my first drawing, and Z into 1000 /100 XP. Right. So this is my existing site plan, and I've inserted my title block here. So let's say I've inserted my title block, and let's say I've inserted my logo. Over here, and make that also black so you can see it. Right? If I go, I'm going to delete this other one here, and I'm going to right click and go delete. Right? So there's my existing site plan. It's got the title block and it's got the logo, only because I'm a bit lazy and I'm not going to put it in. But if you put it in there, I can guarantee if you right click down here and go move or copy, create a copy, and go OK, it will make a new copy down here, and guess what? Everything, the scale and everything are there for you. So now all you have to do is click on the title block and change it to long section, okay? And remember the 2 scales. So I'm now going to go into it, and I'm going to use the hand of Maradona up the top and pan along. That means I won't be affecting the scale, and I'll get to my long section in a minute because I put it to the side. Please come along, please come along. I missed it, okay. I'll have to go in and out. Now we want this to fit So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here, I'm going to use the stretch command and STRETCH, and with a great big green window around that bit, I'm going to go stretch that with my ortho on. I'm going to stretch it up 10. Now that's like 5. Was it right? So that's going to end up at 35. He's doing well. He's the only one that's not bored. Really? Okay, so if I go back into the drawing, and I go Z into 1000 / 100 speed, and go pan, it's now perfect. Exactly with my Southland accent, it's perfect. There we are. Now, there is a bit of an issue here, and can anyone think of the issue? If you have a look at the marking schedule, you're also being marked on notes with I'm just going to change everything to white. Right. So with this, every time we do something, we learn a bit more about the job. See where the earthworks comes down to where the tree is?
Yep.
That goes under the tree. So I don't know if you know much about trees and civil engineering, but if you have a tree, there is a thing called a drip line. So here's your tree, here's your roots, and the drip line is what we call the extent of where the roots under the tree go to. Now, some trees are shallow and don't quite go that far, but that's as far as the roots go. Now, if you're going to take a batter slope down here like that, you're putting pressure, soil and everything on the roots. Now, in New Zealand, technically you're not supposed to build on the drip line. So you should build outside of the drip line of a tree. Okay? Obviously, we all plant trees after we're built. And some people make the mistake of planting trees that go for their pipes. But that's generally speaking, we try to keep away from the drip line. How do we avoid that? Well, there's quite a few ways we can avoid that. One of the ways of avoiding the drip line is, as that comes down, we can build a retaining wall to stop the ground from going into the, right? What do you do on your drawing? Quite simply, you highlight that area, maybe with a dashed line or something, and see note, what note are you up to now? About note 14. See note 14, and note 14 will say structural engineer to design retaining, may need to design retaining wall. Now the general rule in New Zealand is if it's over 900 or a metre, it should be designed by a structural engineer. I guess it could fall on a child or something like that, or crush a child. So it needs to be properly tied into the ground, right? Under, sort of that high, not an issue.
Do we also need to show on the existing plan for retaining wall?
Well, you can't, in plan view, it might be that, see, I'm a bit wrong, the tree's over here, isn't it? But in plan view, it might be just a bit of a circle with an arrow saying structural engineer to look at this, all right? But in actual fact, we don't really know how far that's going to affect it until we look from the plan view.
Yes.
And if you remember last week, we looked at the butterfly wing, remember? Because it kind of goes like that. and it might miss the tree because it's kind of curved, or it might go
Yes.
right round the tree. So we're going to draw up cross sections next week, which are nothing to do with assignment 1, but we start to discover more about what we might need and might not. So when you first got the project, the only thing I kind of said was, well, there's a tree there, that might be a problem. That's all I said, right? And I said also the water, because if you go and take a photo of outside the yellow lecture theatre down there, there's a picture of the sacred, there's not a picture of the sacred anything, there's a picture of a thing that tells you the history and how it's sacred to the Maori, the water particularly.
You know,
So that's,
someone we need to add this retaining wall.
and here you mean on only in the form of a note, all right? Yeah, some sort of note,
So
just
we
to say that you might.
So we don't need to
No
show on
design, no showing of it,
Okay.
Okay.
right?
I just say that.
But on your cross sections, you may need to give a height, a level, so that the structural engineer has a bit of an idea of what he's doing, or she. So I've met more female structural engineers than I have male, actually. It's interesting. Quite an interesting career choice for the ones at Auckland University. The other thing that we've noticed now, we would be talking about this at this end, a very high wall. So that may also need some sort of structural design. See, Hume's pipes, the people that make the concrete pipes, they have their own standard outlets, but they're kind of short. They're not to retain banks or anything like that. So this is probably going to be a wee bit of a bespoke one-off. For your information, this is quite a steep pipe, 12%. Most sewer pipes are 1%, because there's two things, they don't want them too fast, because believe it or not, in New Zealand, everybody seems to go to the toilet first thing in the morning before they go to work, and we don't want it going flat out down the sewer pipes and exploding to the poor people down the bottom of the street. And at the same time, we don't want it too flat, or else nothing's going to go anywhere. So that 1% is a very tight margin on that with sewage pipes. Whereas stormwater has got a better margin on it, but once again, you don't want it too steep. You get an event like we got the other day, and it just goes straight to the worst case scenario. Those manholes are supposed to pop as the water builds up, which slows the effect of a flood down. So if it pops there and floods there, it's not as bad further down. The worst thing you want is for it to go down like a torpedo and blow the lid at the bottom. I don't know if you've ever seen the lid blow, but by crikey, that steel lid would knock a man out if it landed on him from about 2 feet, and it just goes straight up in the air. Yeah. The other thing that I've had quite a bit to do with, I worked for the water department at one stage, not in Auckland, in Dunedin, just in my university holidays, and we used to have to empty the fire hydrants. So at the end of every street, the dead end street, we used to put the big fire hose on and empty it, because all the sludge always ends up at the end of a dead end street. And that's drinking water. So we used to go down and knock on the doors, tell everybody drinking water's been stopped for 10 minutes, but we never said what we're doing, because you got all these little old ladies come out to have a look, and it did look like black sludge. So you can imagine the stormwater, what the build-up is at the end of a dead end street as well. So the reason for manholes is that sludge builds up here, and basically they can clean it out. a lot easier if the pipe's above that level. Okay, so I said I'd take 35 minutes. I kind of lied, didn't I? I was put about an hour, but you know, I've done quite a bit of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing that we have 3D programs now that can spit that out in a fraction of a second with all those numbers there filled in. But the pipeline would only be a line, and the platform would only be a line, and the tree would only be a straight line.
When you do the stretch, it's gonna affect the dimension.
Yes, but remember we've got a new, I changed that to 35.
So we have to change the bottom one,
The
bottom
bo-
numbers.
No, the bottom, they'll be all still the same. They won't change.
Word.
Yeah.
I have a question. So when you stress the long section, what do you stress the HAD as well? Because originally it was 30. But when you after you stress it,
I stretched it 10.
oh okay.
So put 10 on the stretch.
Oh, it's stretch. And then I aimed it upwards just like you would draw a line up. And
Yeah.
I went 10,
10.
enter.
Enter.
And that number there got smaller. These little numbers you can't see here got smaller, but that number increased.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you're
yeah, it's
lucky,
still the
you
same.
now know 35 is a good one to use.
Okay.
So you shouldn't do that. If you're filming it, skip that part, straight past, straight to 35, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I'm expecting some good marks. If you're coming in here to see or meet anyone in the weekend, this is a good room to meet. There's going to be a big crowd of you. If you're coming in here and you need silence and want to do it on your own, that room over there, go past the lollies and things into there. The code on that one is CY 1743. The code on this one here, I think it's that way, then 251, then that way with the knob. Security will open it if it's not open. Okay, so this one's 25, there's a knob there. I think it's left, 251 right, something like that. If someone's jammed it, you have to do a C. C first. That's the same with that. That one is the code for all the labs in engineering. I'm just saying that one through there is quite quiet. It's got big space to put your bag down and get away from everyone. Whereas this one tends to have a bulk of engineers in here in the weekend. It's because these PCs are a lot faster than the ones in the library, and they've got all your programs on it, and you can save to the desktop, whereas you can't, you need a memory stick on those ones. Yeah. I know the library's a lot more relaxing and that, but these are the best computers in this particular lab here. So I just represented the title block there with some lines, but they actually, when you right click and go copy on here, it actually copies the title block and the loader. So if you do it once, you notice in my marking schedule, there's 2 marks for getting it right on that one, and 1 mark for getting it right on the other one. So you're either going to get it completely wrong, or you've got a good chance of getting 3 marks. It's quite a bit to the title. It's not just the title block and viewport and all the other things that go with that setup. How's the young fella? He's on for a walk, is he? Ah. He's playing a game. Okay, well, Wendy's here. She's happy to answer any questions. I've got another thing I've got to shoot away for in about an hour, actually. Yeah. Wendy shouldn't have to, you don't have to work too much longer either, because the class is actually